Hey, Coach, I just want to thank you before we even start for being a part of this again this year. I mean, after last year and everything, but, you know, I'm excited. I mean, we got a brand new set in there and everything. I can't wait to get to it, but what is this? Sports physicals? What, they're giving them in the building now?
This year, safety is important for everybody.
Even those who are covering the games? I mean, you know, Coach and I, we're not going to be playing or anything, but Doc, hold on, maybe I'm protesting a little too soon. Well, hello there.
Hi, are you the host?
I am the host. I'm Wes Decker, yes.
Fantastic. Coach, would you come with me?
What? Wait, hold on. Coach, what, you're leaving me? I mean, you can't leave me with this guy. Well, Doc, yeah, I mean, how did this come about? I mean, whose idea is this?
Every boys high school football coach in Washington County and the boys soccer coach from Williamsport.
Let me see that. Coach Orndorff right at the top of the list. Coach Downs at Williamsport. Are you serious? I mean, come on. A physical?
We are serious, and every one of them told me to be very precise and accurate.
Oh, no way. No.
Wes,
No.
Wes, wake up, buddy, wake up.
Oh, Coach, oh my God. You're not going to believe this. Man, thank goodness. It's true. It was a nightmare. You were in it, but that's not why it was a nightmare. Let me tell you, somehow we were required to get sports physicals before talking about this fall sports season. Thank goodness that's not true. But let me tell you something. You got the best of it. Me, I got the raw end of the deal. But that's not the worst of it. The other day I had a dream that ever since Justin Bieber, you know, my boy, ever since he turned 19, he's been some sort of bad guy. I mean, he's been out there doing all kinds of irresponsible things. And
No, wait a second. That's not a dream. That part is not a dream. The first one might have been a dream, but that part is not a dream.
All right, Coach, whatever. I mean, you know, I know there are a lot of Bieber haters out there. People have said, why don't you get off this Bieber bandwagon? You must be one of them. It's okay. It's all right because I got a backup. I mean, I'm going to go with Miley Cyrus. I mean, that wholesome Hannah Montana. I mean, she's above reproach, Coach. Come on.
No, wait a second. You haven't heard of twerking? You haven't heard of that?
Twerking? What are you talking about? Listen, this has gotten so bizarre. What we need to do, you know, I'm almost like a coach here. I'm going to gather the team together. You and me, we're going back to the place where it all started last year. Come on, let's go. Coach, isn't this more like it? I mean, you don't mess with success no matter where it emanates from, and there's something to be said about familiarity.
Yeah, familiarity, familiar places, right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, with that being said, it's now time to move to Season 6 of Inside Sports, right after this.
Behind every great child, there is a great foundation. Premier Martial Arts will empower your child and give them a premier foundation to success. Our instructors have the passion to teach classes designed to build premier skills. Your child will develop greater self-control, confidence, and concentration. Premier Martial Arts will take your child up the path of greatness. Call Premier Martial Arts today.
September is the biggest, most exciting month ever for Antietam cable customers. Watch TV shows from the most popular networks on your computer or portable device with the launch of Antietam To Go, available free to television subscribers. Antietam high-speed internet now has faster internet speeds and more speed choices with new speeds up to 50 megs for home and 100 megs for business. Plus, we added 8 more HD networks, now totaling over 100 in stunning high definition for your viewing pleasure. Antietam Cable, we bring the world to your home.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. And, Coach, quite the contrast from the bathroom, wouldn't you say? Our brand new set.
The set is fantastic. You look up there and you see all those student athletes. You see the scripting behind us. It just it looks good. It really looks good.
I really like it. You know, 5 years of the initial set that we had here, a Dave Dole production. This one a Jim Turner concoction. And he got absolutely no help with it either. He won't tell you that, though.
Hey, great job. Great job.
It is a great job, and I feel right at home with this. And, you know, as the brand new football season gets ready to start, a lot of optimism in the air anyway. And as I've been saying with this show, a new time, a new set, but it's the same old host.
Well, a little bit of change is good all the time.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you say that. And that's why I have this guy alongside. It's stuff just like that, very supportive. Now last year in the county, Washington County football teams went 41-40 overall. That was their collective record, 41-38 if you don't count the 2 playoff losses, so above 500 for the season. But 25 of those 41 wins came from 3 teams, North Hagerstown, Boonsboro, and South Hagerstown, who really were the big 3 last year. And before this season got underway, I made my rounds and I started at South Hagerstown, where while many of the numbers seemed to align last year, the postseason stars just refused to cooperate. 8 victories, the most South has rung up in the regular season since 1972. 10.8, the fewest points allowed per game in the county, and second fewest in the MVAL, and a Washington County single-season record 2,004 yards rushing by Isaiah Smith, missed adding up to the Rebels' second-ever playoff berth by a mere 0.2 of a point. Now, as 2013 is set to kick off, fourth-year head coach Toby Peer starts a new minus 21 seniors who helped get South just that close last season.
This year we're young, very hard-working. They buy into what we're trying to coach, and we're excited about our new year.
How much does it help you that this is season 4 for you now at South Hagerstown, and some of those kids who are coming up kind of realize what you expect from them?
I think it really helps us a lot from the standpoint we're not changing our plays. We're not changing what we do. You know, the way our methodology on offense and defense, the special teams staying the same. We're just focusing on next man up. They've been here, this is for 3 years, and they know the system. It's next man up, and let's just try to get a little better every day and see where it all falls.
And Isaiah Smith in particular, I mean, a season that he had a year ago was just an incredible season in Washington County football history. What do you ask from him this year?
Well, we ask him to keep getting better. He wishes to move on after South Hagerstown High School and play football in college, and we ask him to just do what everybody else on our teams require daily, and that is get better at something every day. And with him, we're trying to focus on his ability to catch the football a little better and be a little better blocking back. There's some, he wasn't perfect last year. He was real good. There's some room with ball security and seeing the hole and making the right cut and finishing runs. Be a better leader. So he's dialed in, and he wants to improve in every one of those areas, so he can try to go be a productive player in college.
And speaking of leaders, I would assume Brandon Jackson this year you would call on to be even more of a leader, given the fact that it is such a young team and it's his second year here.
Yes, our offense to learn in a year is difficult, and so we would expect more out of Brandon this year. We'd expect more from a leadership role, but we'll expect more from him in the quarterback position. To be more productive throwing and running the football. He has really progressed since last year. He has a great attitude, he has a great work ethic, and we're proud of his progress.
Well, it's an interesting dichotomy for Coach Peer because he has 2 of the premier players in the county coming back. I mean, guys cut from a rare mold in Smith and Jackson, but then that surrounding cast, as he talked about, I mean, you've got 5 all-county performers from offense and defense who graduated last year. How do you get back to being that solid team once again that quickly?
Well, I think the key word there is team, and that's what they have to look at. It's, yes, you've got a couple gems in that group, but this is a team sport, so those other cast members have to step up and they have to perform. The way Isaiah got his yards last year, and he will be the first to tell you, is that the line blocked well for him. So the line has to block well for him this year. And the way that the offense got out on the field and spent so much time out there was that the defense and the defensive line and secondary and linebackers did a great job getting the ball back for him. So it's a team sport. The old saying that the best offense is a good defense and the best defense is a good offense really holds true here. And for Isaiah and Brandon to have a good year, and they had great years last year, to have a good year this year, then the defense has to allow them to get the ball back so that they can perform.
Well, if memory serves, I believe South had lost 8 premier performers the season before, and they did pretty well last year. So we'll see how this one plays out this year. Now, they opened with Century, the last team to beat them in a season opener. Now, it's been a while ago, but they opened with Century coming up on Friday night at home. Now, while the Rebels may not know exactly what they have just yet, at Clear Spring, undeterred by the Blazers' trying 3-7 campaign last season, Coach Craig Bathgate embarks on his 7th season knowing exactly what the mission is he wants to accomplish and what it'll take to do it.
Expectations are to at least be 500 or better. These guys are hungry. There's some guys here that are seniors that were young when we had those 500 seasons and were on the threshold of the playoffs. And I think they're real hungry to get back to that point. Even to get late in the season and be in the playoff hunt, I think is the goal. We want to be that first team in the playoffs from Clear Spring, and we've got the talent here to do it. The health is the key. We're looking for another growing season here. We're pleased with the quality of the kids we have. We don't have a ton of them as always, but we're really young. There's 5 seniors that graduated early last year that would have been seniors this season. So that's 5 extra bodies we lost, but we've got a strong young group of sophomores and a couple freshmen coming up that are ball players and should help us.
When you look back on last season, I know coaches don't like to do that a lot because it doesn't mean a lot with this season. And, the better the season was last year, the more they'd like to look back on it. But, you got off to a 2-1 start and then really besieged by injuries. And as you said, numbers are very difficult to come by at times. And when you have to replace somebody who's a starter and more than likely on both sides of the ball, it becomes a real challenge. And I think, with this being your 7th season here, kind of become accustomed to having to patchwork things to some degree, but how much does it tend to weigh on the program in terms of the fact that, and I don't mean to be negative here, just realistic, that every year you're kind of a perennial underdog?
Well, that's fine. Looking back, I think reflection's always good, whether it's good or bad. There's a lot of things we got to improve on from last year for sure. A lot of player issues, a lot of coach issues last year. We got that all kind of straightened out. I think we've got a good staff together, and numbers are definitely a problem. But if we can stay healthy and stay in some of these ball games, I think we'll be in good shape.
Last year, anybody who watched Clear Spring play, look out there on the field and see one guy who towered above everybody as a freshman. And you kind of told me, I think, last year after I talked to you, this Joey Fisher guy is just, he's huge. And he was huge all year long, especially on that defensive side of the ball. How much better can he be now that he's a sophomore?
I'll tell you, he's unbelievable. I've been coaching in this county for, 14 years now. I don't think I've ever seen an athlete like him. He's 6'4", 230. He loves to lift, does everything you ask of him. His potential's limitless right now. I think he's going to be a dominating force for 3. We keep looking at him here in the practice field and thinking, holy cow, we have him for 3 more years. And the sky's the limit with him. I think he's going to do a lot of good things for this program, getting attention brought to it, and even building it around him too.
Well, with the second team all-county defensive lineman right in the middle of it, Coach, that defense wasn't bad at all last year. They were right in the middle of the pack, actually in the upper half in the county, 4th in the county. The problem was scoring points. They really weren't able to score any points. The schedule now, and I know on paper everything looks a little bit different, but on paper it looks like they have a more conducive winning schedule this year, perhaps. We'll see how all of that goes, and Coach Bathgate certainly talks about all the time the injuries that might come into play. But I think the key is, whether you're playing in the MVAL or teams outside the MVAL, establishing some sort of confidence once again with the group that you have.
Yeah, it's always a nice feeling as a coach to go out onto the field and know that your players are there, that they want to practice. Those 4 days before you play the game are the crucial get ready for the game and what happens on Friday night. So if you can get everybody out there on a Monday who's buying into what you're doing and has the confidence in what you're doing and confidence in the players that they're playing with, knowing that things are going to get done, then that makes the job of coaching much easier. It makes it much more fun. And that week goes by, and before you know it, you're playing a game, and that's really when the fun occurs.
And let's face it, it's still growing the program at Clear Spring right now. Remember, that varsity program only started in 2004, so that's still a work in progress. Clear Spring seeks its third consecutive season opening victory when the Blazers visit St. James, one of only 2 county schools that they have ever defeated. That'll be on Saturday afternoon. We're back with more football previews right after this.
At Murray's Tire and Auto, we were here for you then, and we're here for you now. While the way we look might have changed over the years, the quality of the work you've come to count on remains the same. From preventive maintenance services to emissions repairs to major and minor mechanical work. Plus, Murray's carries Cooper and other major brands of tires and uses state-of-the-art equipment to accommodate all rim and tire sizes. And now shopping for tires has never been easier. At Murray's, your family's safety behind the wheel is important to us as our own. Enjoy old-fashioned service with all the modern conveniences at Murray's Tire and Auto. Still here for you in Williamsport. Antietam Cable is pleased to announce another exciting innovation, Antietam To Go. Antietam To Go lets you watch TV shows on your computer or portable device, laptop, tablet, smartphone. Watch what you want, when you want, where you want from the most popular networks on television. Power Antietam To Go with Antietam high-speed internet for the perfect entertainment combo. Just visit myactv.net/Antietam To Go to get started. It's TV your way with Antietam To Go, free with your TV subscription. Thank you for being an Antietam Cable customer.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. More football previews now, and after going 9-2 last year and making their first playoff appearance since 2006, the North Hagerstown Hubs seem to have that swagger again. And why not? The team thrived in 2012, almost Teflon-like, refusing to allow adversity to stick, instead sticking to the football game plan. With off-the-field issues off the Hubs' radar and last year's inspiration, Aaron Miller, back on the field, his leukemia in remission, head coach Dan Cunningham is more than optimistic about his 13th season at the helm.
I think last year we set the bar pretty high, and they left a good legacy here for the younger guys to live up to. So, we've had some good workouts this summer. We've had some great 7-on-7, and, I think the enthusiasm's there. This is a little bit quieter group. The leadership hadn't stepped forward yet, but, we're expecting big things out of this group. We're deep. We're big. This is probably the biggest team we've ever had, one of the fastest teams we've ever had. We're deep in every skill position, probably 3-4 deep. Up front, we have 12 solid linemen. We have a lot of pieces that fit nice into the puzzle right now. The point system that really counted big for us was the playoff points, and we were second. We received the second most bonus points in the state of Maryland last year, second to I think Queen Anne. So our schedule was pretty good last year as well. But this year that group of kids and to go down to Seneca Valley and lose a heartbreaker like that, it just shows you what 3A West is all about. And you have to go through Montgomery County, and these guys know that now, and we've preached it to them in the off season. And the group that was there, we played a lot of juniors last year as well, and some sophomores in key spots. So I think we're ready.
When you take a look at the opening of that schedule, I think you finally get some opponents on there, though, that certainly can benefit you as you look toward the postseason. But I know coaches want to take it one game at a time, focusing on game number 1 right now. But those first 4 games look somewhat daunting.
Those first 4 are pretty impressive. We were joking down at the Maryland meeting the other week, and we had probably one of the toughest schedules in the state in the first couple of weeks. Playing Milford Mill week 1 gives us a great opportunity to measure ourselves against potential or past runner-ups in the state 3A title. I think 3 out of the last 4 years they've been in the final 3. So, real happy to get them on the schedule. Unfortunately, we got to go down there, but you follow that with Urbana, who's a quality program, and Linganore, who's a quality program, and Mervo, the biggest school in Baltimore City. And I think we're doing the right thing. It's tough to get a game with a lot of opponents around here, but we're settling for what we can get, and playing on the road down in the city and the county, Baltimore County, is going to be beneficial to our kids. Our calling card's our defense, obviously. We return 8 starters on the defensive side of the ball, and those kids can flat out play. They've been a very, very big part of practice thus far, and we're really pleased with their pursuit. Coach Shoemaker's done a great job getting these guys focused and set. We've got every set in on defense already. We have our Kansas fronts, and we got our over and unders. We got our goal line. We got everything in defensively. Offensively, it was a big loss losing Steve Myers, but we kind of re-geared, and when we posted the job, we had Juwan Sandridge interview for the job, and what more could you ask for? I mean, he's a veteran coach. He knows what he's doing, and he ran a great program at St. James, and we're just very fortunate and very happy to have him here at North.
Man, stoppers on defense, weapons on offense. Coach Cunningham has a kicker who can get it done from just about anywhere on the field, can put the other team in a hole. I mean, I guess my question to you is, man, when you're loaded with that much talent as a coach, how much additional pressure is there?
Well, I think the pressure comes from hoping that nobody gets injured. You don't do something silly on the practice field. Nobody makes a silly mistake out on a game field that's going to cause you to turn the ball over. You stay away from those things that are unnecessary things, and you try not to get any of your key players injured. It's really a nice feeling to know that you have talent and to know that talent is there and it's ready to play. He's got to keep everybody happy. If he wins, that happiness is going to be there, and he has to stay away from injuries. That's the pressure, just staying away from that and letting the kids play the game and do what they can do.
Yeah, I saw a real sincere smile there when you were talking about that bevy of talent and the luxury to have that. Yeah. So a good start wouldn't hurt for North this season then, and North has averaged 60 points per game in winning its last 2 season openers, but this one figures to be more challenging as the Hubs travel to Milford Mill Friday night to face a 3A state semifinalist from a year ago who's coming off an 11-2 season. Speaking of Class 3A, a man who lived the rigors of the rugged 3A West region at Frederick is gearing up to try his luck in 2A West at Williamsport. Okay, so veteran head coach Vince Ahearn trades in battling the Urbanas, Linganores, and Thomas Johnsons of the world to make the playoffs for the Walkersvilles and Middletowns at a school that's played beyond the regular season just once in its 40-year football history, and he's replacing the head coach who did it, Randy Longnecker. Further, his old school, Frederick, went 7-3 in 2012, while his new one, Williamsport, was 1-9. Coach Ahearn, what's up?
I had been at Frederick High School, where I was prior to this, for 17 years. I had moved once before that. I was at Suitland High School as head coach, and I'd been an assistant in a couple places. So after 17 years, you kind of get settled in on a lot of things, and a lot of routines become established for you. And I will say that that's one of the reasons I was looking to do something a little bit different, have another challenge, and also change things up for myself. It's always great when you come in because everybody's enthusiastic, and including us. And so we just want to take that enthusiasm, take advantage of that, and then work it right into the season coming up. And I watched a lot of tape from last year before even accepting the job. I really was impressed with the way I saw the kids playing and how hard they played, and they ran fast. And so, coming in, we had a little bit of an idea of the type of kid, we were going to have, which is what I was looking for me. Good athletes and guys that are going to work hard and everything else, and that's exactly what's happened.
Now, coming to a school like Williamsport that has not had a great football tradition in terms of winning football games, what has your biggest challenge been, perhaps maybe in terms of changing the culture here?
The big thing for us was establishing a different way of practice, and that goes into the type of system we run. And I know a lot of football people are very familiar with Chip Kelly and the speed and tempo of an offense. Now, I don't know if we can ever get as fast as those guys get, but tempo in practice is huge for us. And we talked to the kids early, and they were really encouraged because I said, hey, you know what? If we do this right, there's not a lot of conditioning at the end of practice. And they were like, oh, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, you'll see. I think Miss Bishop and Mr. Eulery, the principal and the athletic director, they explained to me through the process, the things that they'd like to see and the changes that they would like to see. And it's not so much changes in the X's and O's in the football, which of course we'll make those our own, but as far as the relationship that you have with the community, they've got a good soccer program, they've got a good basketball program, the wrestling program, the track program. So they have good programs here, and the kids have succeeded in those programs. So, working with those coaches, in those other programs, and working with the athletes that, as obviously we share athletes, it's been great because, they've been very helpful, and I think we've developed a good rapport with the other sports, and I think it's just going to help us out.
Ahearn becomes the 4th head coach at Williamsport since they've had a winning record. That was back in 1999, and he's doing more than trying to win football games, but just how patient does everybody need to be with him?
Well, and I think Coach Ahearn, coming from Frederick and what he did down there with the junior league, he's trying to initiate that here at Williamsport, where he's had practices with the junior league teams. From what I understand, he's going to combine those two teams sometime in the future, and that's really where it begins. If you have a nice feeder program that's going to be running your plays offensively, defensively, used to your terminology, when they come in as freshmen, it's not a matter of now they've got to learn something entirely new and they fall behind someone else who has been doing this all along. So I think the step is in the right direction, and once the terminology falls into place and the wins start coming because everybody's on the same page, you'll see a change in the culture.
And I think he has a chance to get off to a good start as long as the guys are on the same page there, because the first three opponents on Williamsport's schedule last year had a combined record of 6-24, and they open with new quarterback Salvagno Brown at the helm against a Liberty team on Friday that's beaten them each of the last 2 years. So Williamsport has not started 1-0 since 2006, but this would be a good time for them to change all of that. Now, by contrast, Boonsboro is nearly the antithesis of Williamsport. The Warriors have started with a victory in 6 successive seasons, and after posting an 8-3 mark a year ago, Boonsboro has now played in the postseason 7 of the last 8 years. They've also been the model of consistency from a coaching standpoint, with Hall of Famer Clayton readying for his 29th season as head Warrior. But this one, just like Williamsport 2 years ago, will see Boonsboro move up to join the 2A ranks, although this might not be the ideal time for it.
We returned 2 starters on offense and 2 starters on defense. We have a small senior class of about 13 seniors. We have not a real large junior class, and we have 5 sophomores. So we're young, but we like our kids. I mean, they've had a great summer. They've worked their attendance to our summer program. It's been outstanding, best we've ever had. They've worked hard all summer, and now we've got to take what we've done in the summer and put it into football practice terms.
Can you get a gauge on what you can expect from this team at this point?
Well, we had our first scrimmage Friday against Williamsport, and what I would say is the kids that we had that are holdovers from last year, even though they didn't play a whole lot, they kind of knew what we were doing, and when they were in the first, and they're making the bulk of the first unit offense and defense up right now. So when those 2 units were on the field, they pretty much knew the speed we wanted to play at. They kind of could get, I mean, they did a nice job of executing what they were asked to execute. The kids who are more brand new to us, the JVs and the kids that we moved up, they were still there. There was still a learning curve there for them, and just the whole deal of interpreting signals on the fly and the speed we want to play at, and the different formations we want to get in both offensively, defensively. You could just tell they weren't. They're still a work in progress, but they did okay.
Do you feel like, after all these years as a head coach, do you feel like this year, based on the success that you had the last 2 years, not to say that when you have success you don't coach, but do you feel like your job of coaching has been ratcheted up this year?
Well, yeah, the challenge is before us. I mean, on paper, the 2011 team, 2012 team did a really nice job, and there were a lot of smart kids, a lot of good kids in there. We weren't real big, but there were a lot of, we were quick, and on paper, we're different. We're a little bigger this year. We still have some quick kids, but we do have a little bit more size than we've had last 2 years. So we got to play to their strengths.
Well, if any coach knows how to play to his players' strengths, it's Coach Anders, and you've even seen that from the opposing sideline on occasion. How is he able to do that so well?
Well, I think the key to that is just what you said, knowing your players. Coach Anders spends an awful lot of time with his players. He has them in class. He's got them on a practice field. He sees them in school. It's not just I'm the coach and I'm going to come out for 2 hours of practice. He's with them an awful lot. And when you're with them an awful lot, they get to know you, you get to know them. And that thing about, having a good feeling for the group of kids that you're working with, it spills over, and they have a good feeling about working with you too, and you get the most out of them.
Yeah, he's deeply invested in those kids, and you can tell that, and you don't have to talk to him very long to find that out. Incidentally, Boonsboro now has won 18 games the last 2 seasons, which is more than any other team in Washington County. And this year marks the 20th anniversary of the Warriors state championship. It'll be a season-long commemoration in Boonsboro. Big Blue just doesn't want it to be a long season. The Warriors open on the road and not exactly getting to ease into their 2A schedule Friday night at Walkersville. We're back right after this. More previews to come in just a moment.
I think what makes Beauregard different is the fact that when the clients come in here, they do feel comfortable.
It doesn't feel like the sterile atmosphere of getting a haircut. It's more of having a conversation with a friend while you're getting a haircut. Being in the sales profession, it's important for me to sell myself, and part of that is my personal appearance. I've yet to encounter a bad haircut from Bogards. They've all been very consistent over the past 13 years.
Bogards were in Northern Avenue, directly across the street from Gold's Gym.
What's bigger than a baker's dozen and a lot more exciting? Antietam Cable's Sports Plus, 18 extra sports channels, MLB Network, Golf Channel, ESPNU, Big Ten Network, Outdoor Channel, World Fishing Network, Horse Racing TV, Fox College Sports, NFL Network, NFL Red Zone, every touchdown from every game every Sunday during the regular season, and more. Antietam Cable Sports Plus, just $7.99 per month. If you already have a digital box, you can get Sports Plus activated instantly. Call now, 301-797-5000.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. It's our final 3 football previews now, and at Smithsburg, the good news last season was that the Leopards put together a pair of winning streaks. The bad news was that they were each just 2 games long and separated by a 5-game losing streak. On the heels of a 4-year playoff run, it was the 2nd straight losing season for Smithsburg. 17th-year head coach Buddy Orndorff plans to dip into the fountain of youth in 2013, hoping that what's in there will change his Leopards' fortunes.
Well, we got a lot of young, really young. We got 7 seniors. I think we brought up 8 JVs, which is something we haven't done in years. It's just a lot of the older kids, are playing other sports. They don't want to play football. That's fine. The kids we got here want to play. We'll be 2 deep at every position at least. It's just we're working on depth right now. Hope to solidify some positions with scrimmage this week. Really enthusiastic group. They pick up real well. Practices have been really positive, real plus. This looks like it's going to be a fun group of kids.
Do you have good leadership on this team?
I think we got a little bit more leadership than we've had the last couple of years. And to be honest with you, I think that's what has hurt us the last couple of years. It has been lack of leadership. No one wants to step forward and be a leader. And I don't think this is the only sport that's like that. But for us, the last couple of years we've really suffered with kids wanting to be in charge, wanting to take responsibility. The seniors that we do have, good group of kids. They've seen what's been going on the last couple of years, and I think, if we get beat or have a bad year, it's not going to be because of lack of leadership.
Any change in philosophy with anything you're going to do, or are we going to see pretty much, the status quo?
Well, we're still going to be ball control, like we always were, except for last year. I think, we kind of got away from it last year. We just wanted to try something new and see what that would do, and I wasn't really that happy with it. So basically, we're going to go back north-south. We're going to be a little bit more multiple. We got, a couple talented quarterbacks, that can run and throw. So we're going to try to use, have I guess everything geared to their abilities and see what we got. We got a lot of good skill kids, so we'll see what's up.
And obviously, you need to be able to score points to win football games. And last year, I think 59 points in the first 2 games. After that, 53 the rest of the season. So.
Well, plus, and also, in all fairness, though, you're running into north-south, Catoctin, all these big schools, I think Danny called me the other day and wanted to know if he could borrow shoulder pads. He got like 130 kids out, and I'm sitting there, pulling what little bit of hair I have out because, we're down to like 65, 66, so thanks, Danny, for drilling that home. But yeah, that's what, we go through. Be remiss, obviously, we didn't mention Terry Vadiri, defensive coordinator and a coach, has been with me for 18 years. Played here. I've known him since he's been in 6th grade middle school. Great kid, great guy. Wore a lot of hats here, and it's kind of interesting being here without him. But the other coaches have been stepping up, trying to, take over those roles and those jobs. So it's kind of been like, a group process for all of us. And, with the kids and everything. So, hopefully we get off to a good start, and everything takes care of itself. But, we're definitely going to miss Terry.
The untimely passing of Terry Verdier leaves a void in the Smithsburg family, let alone the football program. The team will wear stickers on their helmets in his memory this season, and you hope that perhaps that tragedy can be parlayed into a collective positive for the team. And speaking of what's good and what makes sense, Coach, does it still make sense for Smithsburg to play the likes of North and South Hagerstown?
Well, I think so. It's something that's been going on for years and years and years. And Smithsburg certainly has had their share of success against the Norths and the Souths through the years. So I think it's the community in both ends would feel a little bit amiss if they were not to play each other. I think they should.
Well, fair enough. Ostensibly, the good news for the young Leopards is they open at Northern Garrett on Friday. Smithsburg has beaten the Huskies in 6 straight season openers. In fact, they haven't lost their first game of the year since 2005, a winning streak that has stretched to 7. Now, at Hancock, the Panthers strung 3 victories in a row together at one stretch last season, but it turned out those 3 W's accounted for 3/4 of their win total for the entire year. Dave Mahaffey stepped down as head coach after the 4-6 season, and Todd Ruppenthal takes over. Ruppenthal's vision for football at the state's smallest school is modeled around consistency and building a program that includes a junior varsity.
Well, I've been involved in the program for 18 years, so I'm taking a little bit from each coach I've worked with. The vision right now is just staying on solid ground varsity-wise and getting a JV program started, in which we have. We have 16 kids right now with a 5-game schedule, which is huge for us. So we're meeting those goals right now.
What do you hope to accomplish here at Hancock as head coach?
Just keep both programs going, turn out good kids, make sure the kids do well in school. If that's all done, the football end of it takes care of itself. I mean, they're real responsible kids. So that's just be real responsible with the kids. I guess point of emphasis is just doing well in school, representing us in the school and their parents, and I think everything else takes care of itself. The wins and losses are going to take care of themselves. I mean, we'll be prepared, and they adjust real well to what we're doing. We carry 19 on our varsity. They're a group that loves football. I mean, they just love playing football. They're all the same size, so I mean, our backup quarterbacks are starting guard. So it's that type of stuff. But they're just really hardworking kids who are very honest with each other, very honest with us, and I think that's going to pay out in the long run for us. We've talked about it in the pregame. We scouted ourselves this year, and we talked about it before we even started practice the first day. We need to compete every situation, because sometimes when we play a bigger school, we've had this mindset where we might not win, and when we look past them to teams we can really compete against. We want to compete in every situation, and it's done here in practice with what we're doing every day.
Ruppenthal becomes the 12th coach in Hancock history, a history that's been lean of late. The Panthers haven't had a winning season since 2004. Now, he does have some talent there. Jesse Wolford will be his quarterback, Jordan Kiefer his featured running back, and I guess the question is, how big would a winning season be for the new coach's cause?
Well, a winning season would be very big for 2 reasons. Number one, the confidence in the new coach and the staff will overflow into the off season and just make those workouts and those clinics that you go to and all the play drawing that you do would make it all worthwhile because you had that winning season. And secondly, it's been a long time since you've had a winning season, so the kids in the school and the community can build on that and say, hey, we've had a winning season. We haven't had this for a long time. It's like someone who makes the playoffs and hasn't made the playoffs for a long time. You have all the winning seasons that you can have, but you finally make the playoffs. Now you finally have a winning season. It'd be very, very big for him.
And winning certainly would increase the interest in Hancock football in a lot of ways, too. And obviously he wants that groundswell of support. The Panthers will try to snap a 2-game season opening losing skid Saturday night when they host Sarah Catholic from McKeesport, Pennsylvania. Now, it'll be a battle of new county head coaches the following week when St. James visits Hancock. The Saints lost 5 of their 9 games in 2012 and then ended up losing their head coach over the summer when Juwan Sandridge left to join the North Hagerstown staff. Enter John Root, who ironically was an assistant at North in the early to mid-90s. Although he's been on the job at St. James for less than 2 months, he brings a very experienced staff with him and no excuses for not being prepared. He's been using the mantra, tradition begins today, which is clearly something that needs to be reestablished at the school. At the very least, what has been temporary needs to become permanent, given that for the 10 seniors on the team, Root becomes their 3rd head coach in their 4 years at St. James. He inherits a team with 3 returning all-county players and a stadium with a brand new turf field. Root's optimistic about his first year and promises to continue to build for the future. The Saints couldn't hold a 10-7 lead after 3 quarters in their season opener on Saturday and fell to Central Maryland Christian 28-17. Now, Coach, some of the pros of that game for his team, 2 running backs over 100 yards each and a very solid kicking game. On the other side of the coin, 2 turnovers and 19 penalties for 185 yards. Now, you're a brand new coach. That's your team's first game. How do you handle that with the team?
Well, that's an interesting question. And the thing that you got to look at is, okay, we've lost the game, but we did some really good things. I mean, to have all those penalties and still be in the ball game, 28-17, that's something that's pretty major in itself. But penalties are just a lack of concentration. And so what you need to do is when you go out to practice on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, and if you're going to practice on Friday, you stress it then too. You concentrate on making sure everybody is focused on what they have to do, focused on not jumping off sides, not doing silly penalties. Penalties certainly are part of the game, but there are silly penalties that should never be, and that you have to eliminate. So you stress the rules of football to them, and you make sure that in practice they understand this is the way it's going to be done.
It's absolutely amazing to me that team was seemingly so undisciplined in that game, because when we went out for practice on Friday, Coach Root was so intent on, drilling his team that we didn't get to interview him, but he certainly looked like he had them on the hop throughout. So for that to happen, I can only imagine what practice might be like this week for St. James, who will take its second stab at its first win Saturday afternoon when the Saints host Clear Spring. And Coach Kellick and I reunite for Antietam Cable's coverage of high school football September 27th when Boonsboro hosts Williamsport. It'll be the first of 3 regular season games ahead this year on Channel 30. Looking forward to that, Coach.
Oh, me too. It should be a good year.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun, and always look forward to seeing you. Thanks for being here.
Oh, my pleasure. I enjoy it.
And putting up with my shenanigans. I'll be back as the Inside Sports Fall Preview Show continues. It's girls soccer next.
Boxes are good for a number of things, but not as your flooring store.
Excuse me, where can I find your ceramic tile expert?
Ceramic tile expert? You're looking at him.
But aren't you the...
Ceramic tile expert.
At Carpet Gallery, flooring isn't just one of the things we do, it's the only thing we do. And when they say free, we say, really? Here, you'll meet with flooring and ceramic tile experts with over 70 years of experience, and that's for real, and that's real value. Trust Carpet Gallery for all your flooring needs and think outside the box. Speed Channel has evolved into Fox Sports 1 with the best in live sports programming that fans love. Major League Baseball, NCAA football, UFC, NASCAR, and more. Join the new era in sports with Fox Sports 1 on Antietam Cable Channel 43. Available in HD on Channel 523.
Welcome back to the Inside Sports Fall Preview Show. Now, the measuring stick for other girls soccer teams in the county this year certainly appears to be the one that produced the best record last year. Williamsport went 13-3-1, claimed the MVAL Antietam Championship with a perfect 7-0 mark, earned a number 2 seed in the 2A West Region postseason, and won a pair of playoff games. While the Wildcats graduated 7 seniors from that team that created such an impressive body of work, there's no chance that expectations lessen. So I asked 2012 Inside Sports Girls Coach of the Year Tim Salvagno what it is he wants from this team.
First off, we really want to have some fun. I will tell you, each year we get more competitive. We start seeing results. Not only last year we won the MVAL, we've been in 2 regional finals. But for us, it's really about going to Frederick County and really trying to establish ourselves. So if we can get results up there, I'll be very happy. But really, I want to prepare for the playoffs. You know, I want to win the county tournament this year as well. It's been rough the past 2 years getting to the final, not really getting the result that we wanted. But I anticipate having a really good time, and hopefully we can be back in the regional final this year.
And what steps will you need to take to be able to get to where you want to be? What are you kind of emphasizing with the girls right now?
The big thing is finishing. You know, I think defensively we're very sound. We have 3 returning starters back there, but we need to score some goals. We lost Ashley Likely, which is a big loss. Getting the ball wide, too. We have actually 2 young players, Kate Wade out left and a freshman, Erin McVicker, who we expect big things out of both of them. So getting the ball wide, and obviously our style is keeping possession. We love to keep the ball. We love to make the teams work to get that ball back. So hopefully we can emphasize on possession and goal scoring and get some results.
Now, when you talk about offense and scoring goals and all of that, does it still begin sort of from the goalkeeper out in terms of playing defense?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we like to build out of the back. We kind of want to see the field. We emphasize to all of our defensive players, get into the attack. Make sure you're a part of the game because, again, we maintain possession. We're in the final third of the opponent's, I would say, 2/3 of the game. So being able to build from the back, and then also just when we get to that point, and we need to retreat back and kind of rebuild, those are the ones that are seeing the field in front of us. So we're fortunate that we could probably have 2 or 3 of our defenders play up top with those strikers and then vice versa. So, yeah, we're excited about that as well.
Yeah, it's great to have that type of versatility. You mentioned the county tournament, which is, of course, where everybody starts when the season begins. And last year, Boonsboro getting the better of Williamsport. So let's transition into talking about some of those other teams in the county, perhaps starting with Boonsboro. What do you foresee from them this season?
With Boonsboro, I got to always give credit to Chris. Out there with whatever talent he has, he makes it happen. So I anticipate a very technically sound team who can, again, keep the ball just like us. But, again, they're scrappy. They put pressure on the ball up top. So with Boonsboro, it's always fun. I anticipate a couple battles this year. So hopefully we can see him again in the final, and we'll see what happens.
It seems like that's become quite a rivalry, and now, of course, Boonsboro moving up to 2A, too, so they're right there as we head toward the playoffs, too. Now, Smithsburg seemingly took some steps forward last year. They wound up tying Boonsboro in the Antietam Conference. Do you see them continuing to take strides forward?
We always struggle against Smithsburg. Again, it's that scrappy style of play. For us against them, we never know what they're going to bring. Whether it's high pressure, whether it's a lot of, sitting back and playing more defensive. I believe we've only beat them by 1 goal, I think, each and every time I've played against them. So, again, I expect them to be there. They've improved each and every year, and I foresee that happening again this year.
And not to sell anybody else short, but let's put it this way. Do you see anybody else surprising this year and maybe moving up and being very competitive?
I think the county's going to be fun. I emphasize Frederick County, but at the same time, every game is going to be a battle. We have a target on our back, which we like. For us, it's important that we give each team respect, each coach respect, because it'll be interesting. Anything can happen in soccer. The impossible often becomes possible.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get some competitive games, and for us, it's also trying to be entertaining. To have fans want to come out and see the girls play. For so long, it's been about boys soccer. So, obviously, me being from Washington County, I was in some great rivalries with Williamsport, Boonsboro, and some other teams. But bringing that to the girls' game is very important for us. So we're excited.
Well, a coach has a good team when he references entertainment value. As you heard, though, Salvagno hasn't forgotten about head coach Chris Lance and his Boonsboro team, and he probably shouldn't. Lance's Warriors are more experienced this year and focused on making a run at the county and conference titles. Lance also expects his girls to be more offensive-minded, which can only help the returning 2012 Inside Sports Player of the Year, Bree Springer, in goal. Now, by virtue of winning and being the defending County Public Schools Tournament champions, Boonsboro receives a bye in Friday's opening round at Mike Callis Stadium. Last season's runner-up, aforementioned Williamsport, plays Hancock. Another team receiving preseason mentions, Smithsburg, draws round 1 host North Hagerstown. And don't overlook the squad from Clear Spring, who returns many of its core players. The Blazers face South Hagerstown. There will be a moment of silence in memory of Boonsboro's Michaela Grove prior to the opener on Friday. And all players participating in the tourney will also sign a soccer ball to be raffled off, with proceeds going to Michaela's fund. Semifinal games will be played on Saturday at Clear Spring. And as it relates to Clear Spring, that's where I'll stop to talk boys soccer right after this. At Murray's Tire and Auto, we were here for you then and we're here for you now. While the way we look might have changed over the years, the quality of the work you've come to count on remains the same. From preventive maintenance services to emissions repairs, major and minor mechanical work, new tire sales and service using state-of-the-art equipment, and Murray's always provides full service at no additional charge. Plus, Murray's gives you a second chance to win on all lottery purchases. Enjoy old-fashioned service with all the modern conveniences at Murray's Tire and Auto, still here for you at the corner of Sunset Avenue and Artisan Street in Williamsport.
Antietam Cable is pleased to announce another exciting innovation, Antietam To Go. Antietam To Go lets you watch TV shows on your computer or portable device, laptop, tablet, smartphone. Watch what you want, when you want, where you want from the most popular networks on television. Power Antietam To Go with Antietam high-speed internet for the perfect entertainment combo. Just visit myactv.net/Antietam To Go to get started. It's TV your way with Antietam To Go, free with your TV subscription. Thank you for being an Antietam Cable customer.
Back on Inside Sports now, and the pleasant surprise in boys soccer last year was Clear Spring. The Blazers put it all together to pace the county as the offensive and defensive standard bearer. Their 13 wins were 8 more than they achieved the previous year, and they captured the county tournament title for the first time in school history. A storybook start for the Inside Sports Boys Coach of the Year, Lynn Mills, in his first season. But now that he's seen leading scorer and IS Player of the Year Corey McClure graduate, I asked the coach how he'll approach keeping the momentum rolling.
We're going to concentrate on game by game. You know, I know a lot of people expect a lot of things. A lot of the parents expect us, you know, to repeat what we did or even do better. You know, it's a whole different year, different team. We lost some really key players. We had a lot of nice new players coming in. Younger players look good. We should be pretty strong. And, you know, we'll try to repeat it. I'm not sure how you can do better than last year, but, you know, we can try to do that, and I think we're ready for a pretty good year.
Yeah, you didn't lose to any team not named Middletown or Brunswick last year, and that's a pretty good feat. But in the county, a clean sweep, and you get that first ever county tournament championship. Give me a little insight into how that felt last year so far as this Clear Spring program is concerned, and what that did for the program as a whole.
I mean, that was awesome. That was, you know, like I said, it's never been done up here, and it was a privilege to coach that team and be able to see them do that for the first time. Obviously, they'd like to repeat. There's some tough teams out there we're going to have to face. It was a pickup. I mean, these guys they're ready. They want to win it again. You know, they got a taste of it, and they definitely want to repeat that. And like I said, we'll see week to week what happens there. I think we can if they play like they should play.
What are your points of emphasis here as this season gets underway with this group?
We got to find, you know, we lost both of our strikers, and we're going to have to find somebody to play up front, which is a really hard task. You can ask any coach. That's one of the toughest positions to fill. Some of the younger guys are going to be, you know, being pushed up there to see what they can do. And, you know, just first of all, keeping them concentrating on the game by game. You know, some of the people will talk about states or this or that. You can't look at that. You have to take each week day by day and you know, correct your mistakes as you go, and hopefully things work out well.
Last year was a great year overall. We talk about the record, but part of that was because the team could score so many goals but could also shut down opponents, and that's another facet of the game. Levi Bucher in goal last year was tremendous. How are you looking there?
Looking real good. Actually, I think that our defense is probably even stronger than it was last year. I mean, we lost C.J. Elwood, which was a major factor, but the other guys are still there, and I do feel we'll definitely have the best defense in the county. The problem will be scoring goals. As far as the actual goalie, Levi did a great job. We actually have a sophomore coming in, Ian Hose, and he looks really good. I mean, he's looking really good so far. There may be some mistakes from being young, but I mean, he's going to be a force for the next 3 years.
Now, you've coached a lot of guys in the county who are going to be playing soccer this year, not just here at Clear Spring. So you're probably one of the guys that, you know, people would turn to and say, hey, you know, you probably have a feel for perhaps the way the county is going to shape up this year. So give me a little idea outside of Clear Spring of what we should be looking for this year and who you look to be very competitive.
I look for Williamsport to have a really good team. I mean, I know they have a really good team. I'd say they're due for a good year. They as well have quite a few seniors on the team and quite a few club ball players. They're looking really good. And Boonsboro actually looks good. I know they come off not a great season, but I think they're headed in the right direction, and they're pretty tough. I mean, they did really well in summer league, and they're organized and they're in shape. Look for those two teams would be the two to watch, I believe. I know, you know, North lost a lot of players, and Smithburg and South are kind of just still rebuilding.
Yeah, it seems like no matter what, North Hagerstown always finds a way to play very well in that county tournament. It seems like they always wind up in that championship game. And speaking of the county tournament, talk about taking it one game at a time. But, I mean, that's the way you kick off the season with that county tournament. And what will you tell these guys going into it this year? Because you're really not going to be sneaking up on anybody as well as you played last season.
Well, you know, they know it's how the county tournament works. It's you know, you win or go home. It's, you know, they know that they're going to have to go out there and do well, and small mistakes will knock you out. They have a little system how it works, and they draw teams. I think we play South in the first round, and Williamsport does play Boonsboro, which is a little advantage right off the bat. But you know, any team can win that. Different things can happen. In this game, it's strange. Sometimes teams just can't find the net. But you know, they realize that they want to defend the title and repeat. So in order to do that, they're going to have to play well that Friday night and that Saturday.
From unexpected winner to reigning and defending champs, the Whirlwind restarts Friday night for Coach Mills in Clear Spring. You heard him reference Williamsport, a team that won't be lacking in experience. Coach Chris Downs' Wildcat roster includes 12 seniors, including the county's leading returning goal scorer in Owen Marks and the county's leading returning goal preventer in Corey Ellis. Williamsport and North Hagerstown, who is now coached by Pete Grunberg, were the only county public schools besides Clear Spring to finish last season with winning records. The new season kicks off Friday night at Clear Spring with round 1 of the county tournament. Matchups pit Clear Spring against South Hagerstown, Williamsport versus Boonsboro, and Smithsburg against North Hagerstown. The semifinals will be contested Saturday at South. Don't go away, the previews keep on coming with the only sport that doesn't use a ball next.
Behind every great child, there is a great foundation. Premier Martial Arts will empower your child and give them a premier foundation to success. Our instructors have the passion to teach classes designed to build premier skills. Your child will develop greater self-control, confidence, and concentration. Premier Martial Arts will take your child up the path of greatness. Call Premier Martial Arts today.
September is the biggest, most exciting month ever for Antietam cable customers. Watch TV shows from the most popular networks on your computer or portable device with the launch of Antietam To Go, available free to television subscribers. Antietam high-speed internet now has faster internet speeds and more speed choices with new speeds up to 50 megs for home and 100 megs for business. Plus, we added 8 more HD networks, now totaling over 100 in stunning high definition for your viewing pleasure. Antietam Cable, we bring the world to your home.
Welcome back to the Fall Preview Show. In cross country, last year was the year of the Warrior in Class 1A. It was also the last year of the Warriors in Class 1A. May as well go out with a bang, right? A bang equivalent to 2 state championships for Boonsboro, one for the boys and one for the girls. It doesn't get any more equitable than that. The Inside Sports Coach of the Year, Becky Walter, also got an individual state championship from the Inside Sports Girls Runner of the Year, Sarah Zielinski. After owning that 1A pond as the big fish a year ago, Boonsboro leaps into the larger 2A pond without the graduated senior, meaning that it's time for the Stars supporting cast to make a splash.
Sarah's moved on to college. We do have another Zielinski to fill in the gap there, so we still have 2 Zielinskis on the team, but I'm looking forward to a new year.
And this new year doesn't come without a challenge as you move up in classification from 1A to 2A. Of course, the big dogs in 1A last year sweeping the boys and the girls cross-country titles. So as you move up to 2A this year, how do you kind of size up that challenge?
2A is definitely going to be a lot more competitive. I think there are 3 of last year's state championship teams will be competing in 2A this year for boys and girls. It's just going to be a totally different level. Our region alone will be like competing in the state meet.
Now you do have, once again, great numbers in terms of both teams, but let's focus on the girls first and foremost, and you have some experience coming back over there.
Yeah, we have Courtney Cunningham and Ella Hawkins returning. They were 2 of our top girls last year. And we have Haley Wright, who did not run cross country last year as a freshman, but did track and was pretty impressive, broke our school record in the mile in the spring, has decided to run cross country. She looks to be one of our top girls. And Megan Grams, who ran for Williamsport, is now on our team at Boonsboro.
Wow, so you get a little 2A experience, and Megan Graham's coming in from Williamsport. When you look at the other teams in the county, it doesn't look to me on paper like there's a ton of experience there, but certainly one girl who stands out would be Emily Ward at North Hagerstown.
Yeah, Emily Ward's going to be a huge factor in the county meet or any other meet alone. I think she's probably the runner to beat right now. And I think North had a couple other solid girls last year who, if they put in a solid summer of training, should be pretty good and be a potential threat there at the county meet.
And I know you always come in with a ton of confidence, and by no means are you willing to give anything up here. So as you head into this season ahead, what's the first big meet that you'll be looking at?
Our first meet is the Mountain Run Invitational, which is at Woodsboro Park on September 11th. Don't really know too many of the schools that are going to be there at this point, but I think a lot of the 2A schools from Carroll and Frederick County should be there. And then Saturday the 14th, we are at Interstate Classic at Clear Spring, which I think we'll see more of the county schools.
Over on the boys' side, last year, kind of a pleasant surprise in a way to get that state championship, although all the hard work, the dedication that went into it was no surprise that you got that from your team, but to get that championship was tremendous. Sean Snyder, a big part of that. He has to be your leader this year.
Yeah, Sean is definitely the top guy right now. I think he's probably going to be the top guy in the county right now going in. He worked really hard this summer, has laid down some pretty impressive times in some recent time trials and races that he's done, and I expect big things out of him, as well as Nick Zielinski, Otto Solberg, Ethan Connolly. We didn't lose too much from last year. We've got a solid group coming back, and we've got some expectations.
Yeah, I think last year, it really proved what a team can do, because that was a true team effort to win that cross-country championship. What else do you see in the county on the boys' side?
As far as the county, we've got a couple guys from Williamsport that return. Clay Smith, I think, was their lone sophomore last year in their, I think, top 7 or top 8, and I think it's Racine, who was a freshman last year, returns, obviously, and they look pretty tough. Iser from North Hagerstown, I think, should be up there as well. So there's still plenty of names in the mix from other schools, and I think it'll be a competitive season all around.
The storylines for the season will be all about stepping up. Can Boonsboro step up to the 2A challenge, and can anyone step up in the county, or will the Warriors' depth and experience be 2 hurdles too many for any other county school to clear? We'll know the answers November 9th and October 24th, respectively. From a sport where the county captured 2 state titles in 2012 to one where we brought home 3, the volleyball look ahead is next.
I think what makes Beauregard different is the fact that when the clients come in here, they do feel comfortable.
It doesn't feel like the sterile atmosphere of getting a haircut. It's more of having a conversation with a friend while you're getting a haircut. Being in the sales profession, it's important for me to sell myself, and part of that is my personal appearance. I've yet to encounter a bad haircut from Beauregards. They've all been very consistent over the past 13 years.
Beauregards, we're in Northern Avenue, directly across the street from Gold's Gym.
What's bigger than a baker's dozen and a lot more exciting? Antietam Cable's Sports Plus, 18 extra sports channels, MLB Network, Golf Channel, ESPNU, ESPN News, Big Ten Network, Outdoor Channel, World Fishing Network, Horse Racing TV, Fox College Sports, NFL Network, NFL Red Zone, every touchdown from every game every Sunday during the regular season, and more. Antietam Cable Sports Plus, just $7.99 per month. If you already have a digital box, you can get Sports Plus activated instantly. Call now, 301-797-5000. Welcome back to the show. What's better than 2? 3, of course, especially when 3 is followed by the words state championships. In volleyball, the county went 3 for 3 last year, bringing home titles in 1A, 2A, and 3A. I visited the trio of Inside Sports Coaches of the Year from last season to get some insight on the upcoming one, starting with North Hagerstown's Megan Crawford, whose Hubs will embark on a 3A state championship three-peat, with the luxury of having 1 more player than last year.
We have 10 girls, 3 seniors, 5 juniors, 2 sophomores moved up. So far we've had 5-6 days of practice. Still have a lot to go, and they're working hard, and so we'll just see. Not sure exactly starting lineup or anything like that, but it will all come in play soon.
Yeah, this sounds very similar to last year, and everything turned out awfully well last season. What's the most promising aspect of what you've seen so far from the girls?
You know, we lost 3 seniors, but I have a lot of girls that did play a lot of time last year. Pretty much 6 of them that actually played. So they had that experience. They played in a big game and things like that. So hopefully some leadership people will step up, do their jobs, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's awfully impressive that 2 years ago you had a co-player of the year in Autumn Fisher. Last year, of course, it was Peyton Wallach who was the player of the year, and now this year it's up to somebody to step up here at North Hagerstown. Obviously, Zoe Schreiber was a big part of the success last season as a mere sophomore. So where does your leadership come from this year?
We do have 3 seniors, and Zoe is a big role. She's going to get a lot of swings this year, as well as Mickey Moody on the outside and Christine Randall out there as well. Having Sarah back, always having a setter returning is a good thing. She grew throughout the season, and we're looking for a lot of leadership. We're just running the offense with her, so she's going to have a lot on her shoulders, but she can handle it.
And you've really owned this county the last couple of years, and I know that the competition within the county is really what has made the teams in Washington County so good, because seemingly you go down the road and sometimes you don't see as good a competition as you see here in Washington County. How do you size up what you're going to be looking at this year within the boundaries of Washington County?
You never know. On any given day you can come in. It's whoever's on that night. All the county teams are going to be strong this year, and it's going to be whoever shows up and plays the game and comes out on top. So, we're not underestimating anybody.
Having graduated Inside Sports Player of the Year Peyton Wallach, perhaps you can understand Coach Crawford's conservative approach. Even so, no county team begins 2013 on a bigger roll off an undefeated run through the county and conference a year ago. And, oh, by the way, North is on an 18-game winning streak. But it really depends on the role you're discussing. The Smithsburg Leopards are poised to win one for the thumb. A 5-peat is on the agenda for Coach Rachel Brashear, whose team won its 4th straight 1A state title in 2012 with a very young group that is now matured.
Well, I think defensively we're very experienced. We bring back pretty much all of our defense from last year. We have a lot of good senior leadership when it comes to our defenders. My libero is a junior who's been liberoing for me, was a libero last year. My setter's a junior. She's been on varsity for 2 years as well. And I think we have a very strong nucleus of returners. Hitting-wise, we're actually a little young this year. On my hitting lineup, I have 1 senior, Amanda Snowden, who is a great leader for us, and then we actually have 4 sophomores who are taking some leadership roles this year. A couple are new to the team, and Holly Winders, my other outside's a sophomore who got some playing time last year, but really looking for her to make more of an impact for us this year. So I think we're well-rounded this year. I think we still have some young spots, but my expectations are hopefully to get back to Ritchie Coliseum if we're lucky, but just to try to get out of our region and play the best we can. We're still young, so we have a lot of improving to do, but I think that's everybody's goal. So, of course, it's our goal too, but we just want to be playing good volleyball, like I always say, when we need to be. So.
And you never lost to a team in your classification last year, so still really the kings of 1A in a lot of ways. And, of course, another team in the county moves up to 2A, so you don't necessarily have to contend with them come the postseason. But, at Smithsburg, this run, do you ever think about it and just think how incredible it actually is, or will that come sometime after when you can kind of reflect on it?
I think it probably will come sometime after. We're just trying to ride this wave as long as we can. We've had exceptional parents, exceptional players. I have a good coaching staff from the JV level up, and I've just been extremely lucky, and we're just going to ride it as long as we can. And sometimes winning breeds winning, and I think that these girls have a winning attitude, and I think they expect a lot of themselves, so they set the bar high for themselves, and I think that's half the battle.
And an unprecedented 3 championships in Washington County last year in volleyball. When you think about that, is there any possibility of something like that happening again?
Oh, I think absolutely. I think after I haven't seen Williamsport yet, but they're a powerhouse always. North Hagerstown, they came to our scrimmage here, and they look solid. They've got some great defenders and some great hitters, so I really think that they can make a run of it. You know, Williamsport and Boonsboro are all going to be tough. In the 1A, you know, we're going to have to contend against Clear Spring. They're a young squad, but they came here, and they're going to be tough too. So I think there's just a lot of great volleyball going on in Washington County. I think that's almost more amazing as, you know, us being able to bring home 3 state championships than us doing 4 in a row here. I mean, I just think that that is amazing, and I think that it just says a lot for, you know, the coaches in the county and the players in the county. I think it's pretty cool. So,
3 state championships turned in by county teams. Unprecedented. 4 consecutive state titles by Smithsburg. Amazing. And only 3 schools have ever won more in a row. Centennial and Catonsville 5, and Wootton with 7. By winning number 4 last year, Smithsburg drew even for the most straight state titles by a county team, tying Williamsport. Speaking of which, the Wildcats' first 2A state championship run and their first title in 7 years came with a lot of heartfelt emotion and the cries of "Win for Sam." I asked Coach Emily Crabtree if she expects it to be any different this season.
The motivators this year are still going to be the same. You know, Sam's still on our minds. She always will be. I think that, you know, the girls still feel that need to win for her and for everyone else. You know, we are coming off of a state title, and yes, you want to defend that title. They're working hard in preseason, really impressing me with the lack of height we have this year for how scrappy we've been, and been able to overcome the loss of the big girl, so to speak. So.
Yeah, when you talk about the average height this year, give me some facts and figures on that.
Well, we do have 8 seniors, which is a comfortable thing that I've never had before. But our average height of those 8 seniors is 5 feet 6 inches. So, but their heart and their desire and their commitment and dedication to the game, I think is going to overcome the physical part of that we're lacking this year.
And I'm sure you've seen something to this degree during your coaching career. So how do you change things up then as a coach? What things do you need to do? What adjustments do you need to make?
Well, we need to you know, work on our defense a lot more. We had a scrimmage last night, and I was, you know, pretty pleased with the middles and how many touches we were able to get at the net on the blocks. But our defense behind the block is going to have to be quicker than it has been in the past.
In sort of surveying the lay of the land in Washington County this year, obviously unprecedented last year with 3 state championships coming home overall. Who do you see as being the top-notch teams in the county this year? Are we still looking pretty much at the big 3?
Yeah, I'd still say Smithsburg North, and you know, we're still in the mix. They've returned a lot of players, and once you win a state title, you have that fever, and it kind of is in your blood, and the tradition just kind of helps you through some of those tough matches that maybe you're not supposed to win, but you do anyway. So, I mean, Smithsburg and North are definitely going to be contenders again this year.
Yeah, it should be another fun year for volleyball in Washington County for sure, and obviously that always gets you ready for the postseason. There's no question about that. Can you speak to that a little bit, just in terms of the teams that you see when you go down the road versus, you know, sort of the preparatory course, if you will, for that?
Yep. Well, I mean, you know how volleyball has been in Western Maryland, Washington County more specifically, and you know, 3 state titles in 1 county in 3 different classes. I mean, that speaks volumes. So I think we're really prepared through the regular season for the playoffs because of that.
What will be, in your mind right now, in looking at the group that you have, what will be the key to success for Williamsport?
We're really balanced, and I think that if, you know, someone's having an off night, somebody else can step in and fill in that void. You know, that's a luxury I'm going to have this year that I haven't had in the past. So I think that just, you know, everybody to contribute is a key. You know, we don't have really one go-to player, so to speak. I mean, Courtney Malott and Emily Taylor are going to be our, you know, 2 back from all-county first team last year. And with that varsity experience, you just can't replace it with anything. So hopefully, you know, they'll be the bright spots.
And great players make great teams that make coaches great, and in turn they do great things like win 3 state championships in the same year. The question to be answered this year is it too much to ask to have it happen again? Hey, it's volleyball, specifically Washington County volleyball, and those three teams went a combined 54-5 last season. Can it happen again? That question just might be a parody of itself. I've been talking 3, it's time to talk 4 next.
Boxes are good for a number of things, but not as your flooring store.
Excuse me, where can I find your ceramic tile expert?
Ceramic tile expert? You're looking at him.
But aren't you the...
Ceramic tile expert.
At Carpet Gallery, flooring isn't just one of the things we do, it's the only thing we do. And when they say free, we say, really? Here, you'll meet with flooring and ceramic tile experts with over 70 years of experience, and that's for real, and that's real value. Trust Carpet Gallery for all your flooring needs and think outside the box. September is the biggest, most exciting month ever for Antietam cable customers. Watch TV shows from the most popular networks on your computer or portable device with the launch of Antietam To Go, available free to television subscribers. Antietam high-speed internet now has faster internet speeds and more speed choices with new speeds up to 50 megs for home and 100 megs for business. Plus, we added 8 more HD networks, now totaling over 100 in stunning high definition for your viewing pleasure. Antietam Cable, we bring the world to your home.
Welcome back one more time on the Fall Preview Show. In golf, the discussion going into the season might be more about those who have graduated, like 3-time Inside Sports Golfer of the Year Aaron Staley, his biggest rival Kyle Huntsberry, and a guy who threw his putter into the mix last year in Ryan Crabtree. With those familiar names synonymous with the sport last year, it's easy to forget about the county player who fared the best at the state tournament a season ago. Drew Miguel bested his North Hagerstown teammate Staley and all other county qualifiers with a 20th place finish at College Park. Miguel's 9-hole season average of 39.5 ranked him 4th in the county as a junior. After Miguel, Nicholas Steiner of St. Maria Goretti and Max Brady of St. James are the county returnees who posted the next best 2012 averages. Junior Kyle Moore of North just might be the best bet to step up on the public school level this year. With that, our previews are complete, so let the games begin. Next week, we've got football and county soccer tournament show and tell, interviews, and more. There's always more. Thanks for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time on The Inside.
Hey, your sisters and your brothers, your haters and your lovers, you gotta get up in the streets. Don't complain to mother, they hiding under color. You gotta get up on your feet. Now I feel it in my bones again. Yeah, feel it, but you're never gonna let it in until you get up.